Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be talking about Genestealer Cult's kill team. We have done this before, but we're going to be looking at something more specific, however. Before we begin, if you'd like to see more videos like this one, please hit the subscribe button with your lash whip and destroy the bell button with your auto pistol so that you never miss an upload. Cool. So we're going to have a look at the kill team for Genestealer Cult, as we said. We're going to be mainly looking at the Acolyte hybrid and something that you can do with that, which is possibly broken, who knows, which is pretty darn good, if my opinion. So, what are we looking at? We're looking at the hybrid, but not the neophyte, it's the Acolyte. So, you can have in your... So obviously, if you want to take any screenshots at all, I'll just go boom. Cool. We have looked at this before, so we won't go over all specific rules. However, we'll go for a few specific ones. It does say you can have 4 fighters, and each fighter, or an, which would mean basically a fighter, may replace their cultist knife and rending claw with a heavy rock drill, heavy rock saw, heavy rock cutter, or a demolition charges, if I can actually speak at all. So you can have 4 of any of those weapons, which are pretty good in my opinion, because let's have a little look. So the strength characteristic, this is important, strength characteristic of an Acolyte hybrid is strength 4. They have 2 attacks, unless they are a leader, but that will apply to this a little bit here now. We're going to have a quick look at the statistics of those weapons, and they are all conveniently together. Heavy rock saw. ×2 strength, well, all of them are ×2 strength, so we'll just, yeah, so strength 8, -4 AP, that means you're going to be ripping through all armor, apart from invuln saves, because I don't think there's any 2-ups in the game, I believe, I might be wrong, and I'm willing to eat my words. -2 damage, it's 2 damage for each one that goes through. Sorry about that, technical difficulties, as ever. Yeah, so it's going to do 2 damage apiece, 2 attacks, possibility of 4 damage, which is good. Good. Heavy rock drill. ×2 strength, -3 AP, so still good. Everything at best is going to get a 6-up save, and it's 1 damage apiece, so that's not overly awesome, but it's okay-ish. However, the rule kicks in over here. It says roll a d6 each time a model suffers damage from this weapon. On a 2-up, the model suffers a mortal wound, and you can roll another d6. This time the model suffers a mortal wound. On a 3-up, roll a d6, increasing the score to cause a mortal wound by 1 each time until the model is taken out of action or the roll is failed, which is good. So more often than not, you're going to get probably 2 mortal wounds, if not more, maybe more, who knows, or maybe less. It is a d6 system. So you have 1 damage that goes through. If you get 2, then you could do 2 rolls for it, principally. It's pretty good, so it's not the best one of the bunch, and obviously I'm going to save that one to last, rather obviously. But it's still pretty good, and you could remove models pretty sufficiently. Even Space Marines with their cheaty, ignoring the transhuman physiology, that malarkey. But anyway, so the rock cutter, this is the one we've come to talk about today. ×2 strength as ever, -4 AP, so no one's going to get a save against that one unless they've got invuln saves. They do exist. And it does 2 damage apiece, so if you've just got 2 attacks, you could do a possible 4 damage. Well, realistically, anyone that goes through is going to do 2 damage. That's the key, unless you're splitting your attacks, which you're more than welcome to do. Roll a d6 each time a model suffers damage from this weapon. Therefore, if one of them goes through, you do 2 damage. You roll 2d6, that's correct, isn't it? Now I could be wrong. Roll a d6 each time the model suffers damage from this weapon. If you roll higher than the model's remaining number of wounds, it is instantly taken out of action. When attacking with this weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit roll. Needless to say, I've already said, so you're going to get 2 attacks, and so you've got a 50-50 shot, because I think normally the weapon skill 3, we'll have a look, because I don't want to lie. weapon skill 3+, so they're going to be weapon skill 4+. So you've got 2 attacks, basic, which are going to hit 50-50. So more often than not, you're going to get 1 hit, and it's more than likely going to wound, but not definitely. If it does go through, you're going to roll 2d6. And if it's more than the remaining number of wounds, so you're going to, likelihood is, right, most models have 1 wound. There is the occasional, so like Tyranny Warriors and other things like that, you're going to strip some wounds off them. If they've got 1 wound left, if you roll a d6, there is no way that you can fail removing them automatically. That means if you get, good golly gosh, if I can even use my brain, if you have more attacks, so one way around it is give them, I'm yawning now, either the combat specialist or the zealot specialism, which combat gives you just base +1 attacks. That means you're going to have 3 attacks, or you can have the zealot, which is +1 and +1 strength, so it's going to be strength 10, which is even better. On the 10 you charge instead of constantly, so you can have 1 and 1, one or the other. We're also going to have a look at some of the stratagems. There's ways to make it better even still. So another way to make it better would be the cult icon. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for models within 6 inches of a friendly model with a cult icon in the fight phase. So if you've got a cult icon next to you, not only will you have a 50-50 shot of hitting with each attack, you're also going to it's going to be close to hitting on 3s again, but not dead on. Close, but not dead on, because that's just how maths works. It's the specific one we're looking for. Industrial brutality. Use this tactic after making attacks with a model armed with a heavy rock drill, heavy rock saw, or heavy rock cutter in the fight phase on a d6. On a 4+, it immediately fights again. So if you've got a combat specialist, for 1 command point, you can make 6 attacks on a 4. So again, another 50-50 shot. So it's definitely not it's not a given. You're not definitely going to do it. However, you've got a good chance of doing it, so you can almost automatically delete a model. If not, if you're in combat with a couple of them, you could then use that again and effectively delete 2 models from the board, which is insane. Now I'm going to pause it really quick and have a quick look at some of the other whatchamacallits. In fact, why should I pause it? Well, I never do anything the right way, do I? We will go to specialisms. Just one moment. Specialists. There we go. So we're still on 8 minutes, so it's fine. So leader specialist, we're going to ignore that one right now. That's not what we're looking for. Combat specialist, this is just to clarify, add 1 to the attack's characteristic for the model's characteristic. So if you play match play, you're probably only going to be doing level 1. Use this tactic in the fight phase after attacking with a model from your kill team. Pick a combat specialist from your kill team that has not attacked in this phase. You can immediately fight with them. So basically, you can pick someone around the other side of the board and then immediately use a command point to fight first, which is actually good. It doesn't make it stronger. However, it does mean you have a bit more tactical flexibility. You don't have to sacrifice a model just to kill another model, so that's pretty good. Com specialist, I think this is just in the shooting phase. Yes, it is. Let's see if there's anything else there. Blah blah blah. Nerve tests, we're not going to be looking at that right now. Demolitions we're going to be ignoring. Heavy we're going to be ignoring. Medic, this is one that will actually become it's going to be useful. So this model is never treated. We're going to ignore that because we're not going to be given a medic specialist. However, we could have the medic specialist next to us. Use this tactic at the start of your movement phase. Not your movement phase, just the movement phase. Pick a model from your kill team within 2 inches of a friendly medic specialist that is not shaken. You can add 1 to the advance rolls, charge rolls for that model, and add 1 to the model's attacks characteristic until the end of combat. So you can go from 3 attacks to 4 attacks for 1 command point, which is pretty darn good in my opinion. We have a quick glance at the other ones. I don't know if there's any extra special ones. I don't want to look at that one. We're not going to be giving them that. It can either increase the model's move to riches, blah, blah, blah. No, scout specialist, we're not looking at that. Sniper, no, it's definitely not going to be that one. Veteran, maybe. Let's have a look. No. Zealot. So you can add one to the model's attacks and strength characteristic in a battle round in which they're charged. Needless to say, that one's, you're probably going to get in there and hopefully kill them on the spot. Let's have a look. Use this tactic when you pick a zealot specialist from the kill team to fight in the fight phase until the end of the phase. Each time you make a hit roll of 6+, for that model you make an additional attack with the same weapon against the same target. These attacks themselves cannot generate any further attacks. So this one's less reliable, still 1 command point, so it's actually still good. With your zealot specialist, you can effectively on a 6-up get more attacks against their model. So not only will you have 3 attacks on a charge, you will likely, sorry, that was a strange noise I made. I was just trying to use my brain at the same time I was talking, which doesn't work. So it just says kill team fight phase until the end of the phase. So with that one, you could use the stratagem, the industrial brutality, to fight again. And even if you're on the second turn, so when you haven't charged, you're only on your 2 attacks again, you can use both this and that one together, which will be pretty cool. Let's see if there's any others. Nope, because that's the Adeptus Astartes, and that's what we want to kill. We will have a look back at the right near the back, isn't it? It's right near the back of the book. Genestealer Cults. Acolyte Hybrid. There we go. So, principally speaking, a Acolyte Hybrid is probably one of, and I could be very wrong, one of the most destructive models in the game. In the fact that they can deal out so much damage, a possibility, let's be honest, of 6 attacks if you're using the fight again tactic on either the just the basic industrial brutality one, or you can fight first, so they're gonna hit first, which is pretty good. Sorry, I'm yawning. Oh dear. Sorry about that. Needless to say, it's pretty destructive. I think I've made my point. I think the point's already been made. Yeah, so you're going to do 2 damage apiece. So with each 3 attack, obviously once you've got one that goes through, okay, it's gonna immediately ignore the other ones, right? So if one goes through, which it is more than likely going to, with it hitting on a 50-50, and you've got 3 attacks with your specialisms, those are going to hit 50% time, so it's 1.5 will hit, and therefore it's probably going to be close to a 50-50. Maths isn't my strong point, but you're wounding on 2s and 3s, so you're probably going to wound with the exception of 1s. However, if you've got your cult icon there, you're also going to be re-rolling those 1s to hit, which is not a specialism, so it's pretty good. You're more likely to hit. So you're more than often than not going to hit and get 2 damage through, so you're going to make 2 d6 rolls, and you've got a really solid chance of kind of tapered off here, a really solid chance of just removing them completely, which is epic in my opinion. The Rock Cutter is the overall winner in my opinion for the Genestealer Cult army. It's getting them up there is the problem, and maybe we'll address that in another video. I think for now I'm going to call it a day, and just if you think there's anything slightly more broken in the kill team rulebook of any sort, pop it in the comments down below. Always welcome to prove me wrong or anything like that. I am more than happy to learn. Yeah, so as ever, thanks for watching and goodbye.